Greetings class, this is a video on how to use Adobe Illustrator's effects panel to create the 3D effect called Revolve. Okay, so we're trying to use the 3D effect called Revolve. So let's go ahead and get started, and I'll try to explain how this thing works. Make sure you watch the other video first, the one on extrude, because it covers a lot of the details that relate to this video. Alright, so watch that video first. Here we go. First off, I just want to show you how it works. All right, so we're just going to jump to it, and I'll show you exactly how that thing works. So what you do is really you just take the pen tool, and I'm going to make a little diamond shape first, just to demonstrate. Now I'm going to press the Control key and click, and that will just close the shape up. One thing that's kind of important is I'm going to use the white direct selection arrow to select these anchors, and I'm going to go over here to the align panel and line them up. You don't have to do that, but you'll understand why I did it a little bit later. You could also draw a box and just cut it up, but don't worry about it. In fact, you could close it and it still works. It's not really the point. I'm going to press Shift X because I don't want this fill. I just want to see the stroke. So let me just tell you what's going to happen when I use this effect. It's going to revolve this one XY shape. It's going to bump it out on the Z-axis, and it's going to basically repeat it 360 degrees. So this will either create a diamond that will look sort of like this. This is looks kind of silly, but it'll look like that. Or it'll actually create a shape that looks like this, but in 3D. Trust me, that's what it's going to do. So here we go. I'm going to go to Effect, 3D, and Revolve, and there you go. There's the shape I was talking about. And everything else, all these features, almost everything is exactly the same as the extrude video, which really got into it. The only difference is you've got, instead of extrude, you've got revolve, and you've got an angle. I never ever adjust this angle. I don't really understand why I would ever want to for it not to go 360 degrees. So I'm not going to harp on that. By the way, I pressed enter right there and it knocked me out of there. It's just a good opportunity for me to mention how do you get back in there. Well, you just click right there and you're back in the dialog box. So or you could go to the window and appearance panel and then find your way back to that effect. But here I am, and yes, I can make adjustments to it, just like we talked about in the last video. The big thing to note is the following. You can make it align to the left edge of the shape that you drew, or the right edge. So this is that diamond shape I was talking about. So see how now I've got this diamond shape, like I was talking about a minute ago. All right, so everything else is the same. The only other difference I'm going to mention is the fact that you can offset this. I never do this either. So this essentially is creating a hole in the top. And I can do that myself, and I'll show you how. So this is something else that I don't ever use. You know, I told you I don't use these tools very much to begin with, but sometimes I use them. I use Revolve a lot less than Extrude, personally. Okay, let's keep moving along here. Sorry, I'm adjusting this volume. It looks like I might be looking too loud here. Okay, great. This thing is touchy. All right, I'll stop messing with the volume. I'll leave it like where it's at. Back to this video. So I'm going to press OK and show you something pretty cool. First off, black was the wrong color to pick right at the beginning, because then you don't really see the effect very well. So let me just pick another color here real quick. Any other color, right? There we go. And you can see how the glossy plastic appearance of it. But check this out. I get the white arrow, and I'll make an adjustment here, and check that out. See how that puts a hole in the top? Pretty neat, right? Or I could drag this out at the bottom. Now I've got kind of a little circus tent looking thing right here. But you can completely control this. If you don't want a hole, then you need these two, the top and the bottom. I'm going to hold down the control key to select this other guy. You need to line them up perfectly, which is what I did before I ever did this trick here. So in fact, let me just draw a selection and go like that, and then there won't be a hole in the top and the bottom. But as soon as I move this out, or if I move this out, I'll get a hole in the top. If I want a hole on both the top and the bottom, that's when I have to use that effect I showed you a minute ago. But how often do you want to do that? So let's say that I wanted to make a wine cup or something. Check this out. I could actually still do it from here. I could just start back up here and work my way down and go like that. And check it out. Now I'm not saying this looks great because I need to move this angle out a little bit. But it's pretty cool, the stuff you can make with this. It really is. And yes, you can work with curves. Not that anybody's asked me that question, but you can. So I think that's kind of a neat little feature. I don't know why this is acting so touchy. It actually should be behaving better. But let me talk to you about how I made the lamp for the example. And again, you're supposed to make something different because you can do all types of stuff with this. In fact, just all types of stuff. You can make a baseball bat with it. You can make a sword with it. Well, not really a sword, but you can make like a spear. You know, you can make so many things with it. It's ridiculous. And sometimes I'll just make something and I'll use it as a reference. But the lamp was kind of made like this. I basically did something probably like this, right? And I kind of built the whole thing. But then I knew I wanted two separate colors, and that's where the rub happened. You know, like, how do I do that? I want the whole thing to be orange. I want the lamp shade to be a different color. So all I did is I selected this point right here, and I broke it. How do you break it? Well, just hit the scissors over here on the right, and then this breaks away from that. And I'll make this a different color. You know, I'll make the whole thing, let's say, a gray. So I'm going to go over here, and I'll just double click over here. I don't know why I'm double clicking over there and nothing's happening. I don't know if I'm crazy or what. There we go. Great. So that's done. You know what? I'm positive I'm not going to like the way this looks, but I don't care. I think like this is pointing out too far. Let me move this up a little bit. Okay, so this should look okay. I think it's going to look a little nuts. This angle's probably out too far. The thing is, I can make these adjustments later. I'll stop making them now. I really don't need to obsess like this. I just am. But here's a problem. If you go to Effect and 3D and Revolve, you know, it's going to look insane. Even if you go from the right edge, it's going to look stupid. The problem is I didn't group these. So I need to select and group these, and they'll actually revolve together. And I didn't say this in the other video, but it works the same for extrusions. If you're extruding multiple subjects, if you group them, they'll all extrude together. If you don't group them, they'll extrude separately, and it looks weird. But here's Revolve, and yes, that looks dumb. All right, that's not what I want. I want the right edge. And there we have it. Then I'll press OK. And then if I wanted to, I could just use my white arrow again, and I could be like, you know what? This is looking kind of dumb, and I could start to make little adjustments. Have to be kind of careful that I don't accidentally select the wrong handles like I am right now, but this is starting to work. And I could make adjustments to this until I was a happy camper. And if I move this out, I can't have a hole in the top. And I have had versions of this where it has a light bulb in it, but you know, I didn't want to make things more complicated by doing that. And by the way, these can be curves. This does work with corners. You don't need to just use straight edges like I did. But you get the idea. Like, this is how I made the lamp. And this is how this works. And you can make other things with it, like lots of other things. Have fun experimenting. If you end up making a lamp, just make sure your lamp's not the exact same thing as what I did. But there you have it. That's how it works. That is the Revolve tool. Isn't it cool? Hope you enjoyed this video. I'll talk at you later.